What is up, guys and girls? My name is YDH and today I've got you a brand new theory coming out. I'm really excited to bring you this one. I've put hours of research into this and hours of prepping it together, finding all the information and putting it into one video. This may actually be slightly longer than usual, but hopefully you guys will stick around. There is a lot of information to pick up, but I think every bit of information you hear you're going to find really interesting. It's kind of like a detective movie in a way. It's really cool. So hopefully, like I said, you'll stick around and see what I have to say. So the main theory is that buried is not where the COD wiki and everyone thinks it is in Africa. It is in fact in New Mexico, and I'm here to prove why. I'm also here to prove that Richtofen is related to the witch in the house, and all of this is backed up by information, and if it's not true, it's just an extremely large coincidence, okay? And I kind of, when I was doing this, I was like, this is way too big of a coincidence to not mean anything. So hopefully all you other theorists out there, if you can pick some information off of this, that would be great. Hopefully any of you guys, you can put some comments in the comments as well. That would be really interesting to see what you guys have to say as well. So you may hear a little clicks like that when I go through the video, just because I have a lot of information to get up here and I need to try and look at some information whilst doing it. So anyways, we're starting off with Manfred von Richtofen. Now this is the supposed character that Richtofen is based off of. If you don't believe me, this was he was a German fighter pilot. He was nicknamed the Red Baron. Now if you remember, in the Origins Easter egg, you had to shoot down the Red Baron. Coincidentally, this pilot died on the 21st of April 1918 in France. So this is the same date and the same location the actual Red Baron died when you shot him down in Origins. So this guy was also born in Broslo, which is the same location that Doris is set. And I just wanted to tell you that, guys, just so you knew that this is who Richtofen is based off of. However, I'm not doing a video on this guy. I just wanted you to simply understand that this is Richtofen, and I think other people may be doing videos about him anyway. So I looked on his like family tree sort of thing, and I came across this woman called Frieda Lawrence. Now this woman was a far relative of Richtofen. They weren't like, you know, brothers, sisters. She was a far relative, but they were in the family together, and that's really all that matters in this case. So she was born in Germany and actually ended up moving to New Mexico, where she eventually died. But before that, she married two authors. One was called Ernest Wheatley and one was called D.H. Lawrence. Now this is where all the investigations start to come together. This is where it comes pretty cool. So when she originally married Ernest Wheatley, who was the first author she married, it says here, during her marriage to Wheatley, she started to translate pieces of German literature, mainly fairy tales, into English, and took considerable pride in their publication book form. So we're going straight in now into the map, buried into the house where I believe all the information is set, and I think you guys will love this. If we go to the bookshelf, I want you to get a close-up. I want to show you these books. I know that there's a lot of them. I debunked them fully in another video. However, there's one book, and that is called Grimm's Fairy Tales. Now, this was a German fairy tale book that was released in the 1800s. Yes, there are fairy tales and books placed around this house. Now, you may just be thinking, it's just a small coincidence. Well, explain this, bitch. Okay, so in the when she married D.H. Lawrence, they moved into a house. I think they had a house in the UK. However, I haven't researched this entirely. All you need to know is that this was one of their houses. Now, if you look inside, look at the style of the house. Look at the wallpaper. Okay, hold that image of the wallpaper. Now look at the wallpaper in Buried. Yes, that is extremely similar. Look how they're both flowers, and then they have sort of like a cherry on the end. They both have those flowers and cherries on the wallpapers in both houses, which is crazy. So you may be saying again, that's probably just a coincidence. Well, D.H. Lawrence was also a poet, and there's a book on poetry. It's really hard to see. I'll try and put it up if you can't see it that well. It basically says something psychological and poetry or something like that. So there's also a book on poetry. He was also a painter. There's lots of paintings in the room. However, these sort of things are just little things. They're not like backed up by a main source of evidence. However, I do have a really cool bit of evidence for you guys in a second. And he also played the piano. Now, if you guys know, there's also a piano inside the house. So those were little things that I like to pick out there. Right, now this is one of the main things. If you look at this photo on the wall, you will see, you're probably thinking this is just a normal photo. However, when Frida Lawrence and before D.H. Lawrence kind of split it up, they had 3 young children. Now, one of them is on the left. You can see there's a small boy, and then there's a small girl in the middle, and then there's another child, sort of a toddler, sitting on someone's lap. There's 3 young children there. And as you can see in the photo, this is a photo of Frida Lawrence, and you can see, look how closely that small child looks to the one in the photo. And if you don't believe me, look at the guy in the middle. That is who I think D.H. Lawrence is. Now look at that guy and look at this guy. This is the actual D.H. Lawrence. Look how similar they are. They both have beards, same hair length, style. It's crazy. So, you know, we got the coincidence of the children all being the same like age. The fact that there is 3 children, the fact that Lawrence looks exactly the same, and all the other coincidence in the houses. So, if that isn't enough to pull you, I now am going to tell you why I think that Buried is not in Africa, where everyone's saying it is. It is in fact in New Mexico. Now, when D.H. Lawrence died, he was actually buried. He had no, he wasn't buried, excuse me. I think he had his ashes placed inside a memorial chapel. And if you go outside the house on Buried, there's a chapel or a church or whatever you want to call it out there, and I'll actually show you a picture of the official chapel, and this is the one on Buried. As you can see, they're both kind of similar, but that may just be, like I said, another coincidence. It's funny how they all kind of link up though. This is the main thing though. If you go inside the house on Buried once again, you will see on the wall that there is a photo of this. Now, this is what I believe a photo of the shiprock, which is in New Mexico. I'll actually show you an official picture of the shiprock that's in New Mexico. And there is also, right near that, there is a New Mexico rift. Now that rift is called, let me just get it up here on my sources, the Rio Grande Rift. Now, as you know in Buried, Richtofen says, mend the rift. So I think that this is in fact based in New Mexico, and that Buried is set in, of course, New Mexico. So I don't know, I haven't had time to put a theory off of this, but I think you guys can see by the information that it's so likely that these people can be linked, especially with Richtofen and the witch. With them being linked, that is a crazy thing in itself. So I know that was a lot of information together, but hopefully you kind of saw what I was going for there, kind of what theory I wanted to produce. But I hope you enjoyed that, and I will be probably producing a video on an actual theory that I have for it, but I just wanted to show you, like, that was so crazy, and putting all that information was really hard, but I really appreciate you guys sticking around. And if there's any theorists out there, be sure to hit me up. We can make a theory probably. I don't know, I really don't know, but thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time, and have a fantastic day.